People were out there today in Pittsfield, Massachusetts. Hands off Social Security, compassion matters. Stop, hands off Social Security. Senior citizens in their 80s and 90s gathering today in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, outside their local Social Security office in Western Mass. Lakewood, Colorado today, outside Denver, same message, hands off Social Security. People all around the country today came out specifically to their local Social Security offices to try to defend them from Donald Trump. And also to say, thank you, Social Security Administration staff from St. Petersburg, Florida. Hands off. In the back there, that person reaching all the way up. Social Security is a lifeline for millions. There were protests like this, standing up for Social Security at 58 different Social Security field offices today in 23 different states. At those field offices, people also hand-delivered this letter addressed to the head of the Social Security Administration. It's signed by 40 Democratic senators, more than 60 Democratic members of the House. It asks for a commitment from the Trump administration that they're not going to close any field offices. And if they are planning to close them, they need to be clear in advance about which ones and why. This is actually something that came up on our show last night. Last month, you may remember, the White House posted online a list of more than 400 federal buildings they said they were going to sell off. And some of them were very high-profile places like, the headquarters of the Justice Department. But the list also included Social Security field offices. But then they deleted that list from the internet just 24 hours after they posted it. Oops. So are you guys planning to sell off the Social Security field offices or not? It has been a horrifying open question for over a month now, especially for people around the country who rely on those offices. They have been fairly and reasonably panicked about what might happen if the White House shuts those offices down. Take Saginaw, Michigan, which has one of those Social Security field offices the Trump administration was apparently going to close down and sell off for parts, or maybe they're not. Just days after the Trump administration made the announcement that that was one of the field offices they were going to shut down, people in Saginaw showed up in person to try to do something about it. They marched through town. They marched to the Social Security field office in Saginaw to tell the Trump administration to keep their hands off. They were back at it this week. This was Tuesday, again, outside the Social Security office in Saginaw.
18 months ago, on November 4th, 2023, I suffered a stroke, which resulted in me being blind. It's been a very difficult 18 months, and when you're suddenly faced with blindness at the age of 60, everything's turned upside down. But there was one thing that I knew I had, and that was Social Security. Well, I appreciate all the technologies. I didn't prepare to become blind. And so there's so much technology, and what they want to do, to close this office, are you kidding me? This is going to devastate our community, and it's going to hurt people like me, because if I run into a problem, I know there's people right here at Social Security who will meet with me. It's so easy to get in and out of that building. And so I say to Trump, Musk, keep your chainsaw away from Social Security and quit hurting the people most in need in our community.
Keep your chainsaw away from Social Security. That press conference was called by Congresswoman Kristen McDonald-Rivet. She represents Saginaw, Michigan. She says more than 200,000 of her constituents rely on Social Security benefits. She's been trying to get a straight answer from the White House about the plan for this field office in her district. She wrote to the Trump administration in March after the news first broke that this was one of the places they were going to sell off. She asked what the White House had planned for this field office. She never heard back. She wrote to them again this week. She also organized that press conference. After that pressure from her and from her constituents on the ground in Saginaw, we now have a response from the White House about that Social Security field office in Saginaw. According to a spokesperson for the Trump administration, quote, there are no plans to permanently close the Saginaw, Michigan field office. Oh, joining us now is Congresswoman Kristen McDonald-Rivet, the Michigan Democrat who represents Saginaw. Congresswoman McDonald-Rivet, I really appreciate you making time to be here tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Why do you think it took so long to get a clear answer from the White House about this field office in your district?
We see a lot of things that are coming and going continuously, so much chaos with this administration. But before I get into that, I really want to level set about what's happening in mid-Michigan. So if we start, 80% of our jobs in Saginaw and Flint, Bay City, pay less than 50 grand a year. So think about what that means, take home pay on 50 grand and your ability to save for retirement. And then understanding that 60% of the district is over the age of 50. So when we suddenly saw the cuts to Social Security, elimination of the staff, talk of eliminating the phone services, all of the pieces that we have hearing after being told over and over again that Social Security was off the table. My office was bombarded with phone calls of very frightened people. Rachel, if you came to my district and went through a McDonald's drive-through, chances are a 70-year-old is going to hand you your Big Mac, because people here are really financially struggling. And what they need is reliability of the services that they planned, of the benefits like Social Security they paid into and expected to be there for them as they went into retirement. So didn't get a great response from the letter, sent another letter, we called, we marched, and finally on Tuesday held a press conference and just said enough is enough. And I am thrilled that, we have that victory. The White House came out and said they are not going to close this incredibly important office in my district.
One of the things we've been following around the country is people's difficulties with the Social Security Administration because of all of the cuts that have been made by Trump to the agency, both in terms of staffing and in terms of services and things like their technical systems, their website, their phone lines. Have people in your district also been having those kinds of troubles, even though apparently the field office is now saved?
The field office is safe. We need to protect the people inside the field office. We have to have people that can answer the phones and take the visits. I did a town hall a couple of weeks back and was just so struck by a senior who called in and said, look, Social Security is my only source of income. I'm disabled. I don't really use the internet, and I have issues and I can't get through, and we have seen wait times double and triple as a result of the cuts that have been made to Social Security. It's a promise that we have made. And when you put that on top of the threats to Medicaid and other benefits that are going, and federal departments that no longer have people that are there and responsive and can answer the phone, it's a really scary time for the people in mid-Michigan.
Congresswoman Kristen McDonald-Rivet of Michigan, thank you for helping us understand, and thanks to your constituents for everything they did with you here on this fight. It's good to have you here.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It just really proves that when we push back, we can win.
That's right. That's right. Boy, is that right. We'll be right back.